Hello and welcome to Camper Blastoff. My name is Daniel Curran, as always alongside my co-hosts Teddy Murray and Jake Kelly. Today we're going to be discussing an array of topics from NFL to NBA. We're going to start off with basketball. Well, the debate's been going on for as long as time now between who is the greatest player of all time. You have Michael Jordan, you have LeBron James, maybe you have someone else. Teddy, we'll start with you. What's your opinion on this?
I have a very strong opinion that it's LeBron James, and even though it's not the end of his career, I believe it's LeBron James, and by the end of it will be, because of what he's done. He's been to, I believe, 8 straight finals, and he's just been dominant over his time with different players around him. And I believe that going through the Warriors, beating him once, people don't understand how good the Warriors are, and the fact that he's had to deal with them, because people always point to his record in the finals as a knock on him, but he's had to play the Warriors with a team that is not as good, and he's been able to win the East all the time and just be the dominant force. And I just think Michael Jordan, I'm respectful of people that say Michael Jordan because I know that he's so good, but I just believe it's LeBron James because of what he's done and how dominant he's been.
Jake, do you agree with that?
I disagree. I think Michael Jordan is the best player of all time. You know, LeBron he makes the worst decisions. I mean, Michael Jordan, he is the GOAT of the NBA. He is the legend. And, you know, he played for the Bulls. He's amazing. You know, I feel like LeBron James, I mean, he's a good player and all, but Michael Jordan, he's just a legend.
Do you have anything to counter to that?
I mean, I don't think, if you're talking about a knock on the decisions on what kind of teams he goes to, I don't think that's that shouldn't be, when we're talking about greatest player, yeah, I don't think that should be a knock on him. I know that Michael Jordan stayed with one team for the majority of his career, and that's
what made him a good player, Michael Jordan.
But when it's a discussion of better player, I don't think that should be in the discussion. I mean, obviously that's something when you talk about the two players that people appreciate about Michael Jordan, but when we're talking about just players, I don't think that should be a knock on him that he went to different teams and won with different teams.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to the NFL. Division in particular that we're going to be looking at is the AFC South. Of course, you have the Jaguars, the reigning champions. They're looking strong this year, but also the Texans have Deshaun Watson for a full year. Other teams, maybe like the Titans, that made the playoffs last year. We'll start with Jake this time. What do you think?
I feel like it's going to be the Texans in the AFC South because, like you said, Deshaun Watson, he's a great quarterback. J.J. Watt, he's going to lead that defensive line and shut down probably the Jaguars. He's going to get probably, I'm predicting not 20 sacks. Well, that's an exaggeration, but a bunch of sacks on Blake Bortles because they play him twice during the regular season, and, you know, they're all a bunch of talk about all this Blake Bortles. You know, he's going to be the best quarterback in the AFC South. J.J. Watt, I feel like he's going to shut him down this season.
I'm going to go with the Jaguars and disagree because I feel like they won the reigning champs and they went all the way to AFC and almost beat the Patriots. And when you talk about the Texans, I know they're good, but Deshaun Watson and J.J. Watt.
The Texans have really developed, though.
But Deshaun Watson and J.J. Watt are coming off 2 huge injuries. Deshaun Watson just tore his ACL, and I don't know it's one of the toughest injuries to come back from. And J.J. Watt, he also had a really bad injury. I forget what it was. I think it was in the lower body. But those are your two most dominant players have coming off bad injuries, and that's something that I don't want to bet on when you're talking about winning the AFC South. And I just believe the Jaguars are the strongest, and I think Blake Bortles will improve. And he doesn't need to be a hero and doesn't need to be an amazing quarterback for that team to win. They just have pieces around him with Leonard Fournette and that defense.
You know, you talk about injuries. I mean, look at Gronk. He tore his ACL 2 times, and then he comes back, and he absolutely dominates that offensive line for the Patriots. You talk about Gronk, Brady, and back in the day with his ACL, he came back, and he absolutely ran that offensive line. I mean, injuries shouldn't matter.
But when you're comparing the Patriots and the Texans in terms of next man up in depth, it's kind of hard to say that those teams are going to have the same response to injuries like that. And even though I know Gronk has been injured in his career, but the Patriots have had the people to come up and just replace, and they have the system in place. I don't know, the Texans are still a young team, and I don't know if they can do that, especially because I do think one of those players will still have a lingering injury this year. But again, I do think that you're right that they can be dangerous, but I just don't want to bet on them being healthy, and that's just something health is something I don't want to bet on when talking about winning the AFC South.
Okay. Well, looks like that's going to wrap it up for my partners Teddy Murray and Jake Kelly. I'm Daniel Curran, signing off.